Welcome to the deep dive.
Hey there.
So, today we're diving into something I think, well, everyone experiences,
Oh
right?
yeah, that feeling of hitting a wall.
Exactly. Or just wondering how some people seem to learn things, so easily.
While you're slogging away.
Yeah. So, we're on a mission today. We want to kind of unlock how skill development really works.
We've got some great sources lined up, psychology, neuroscience blogs, even Reddit threads.
Uh-huh.
Really digging into what makes practice, like effective practice, and maybe debunking this whole talent thing a bit.
Yeah. Is it real or is it just hard work?
That's the big question we're exploring.
Okay, let's start with that wall, the plateau. You're learning something, maybe playing guitar.
Or coding, or yeah, anything really.
Then suddenly progress just stops.
Yeah.
You're stuck.
Right. And this blog post by Hans-Peter Becker, he calls it the plateau phenomenon.
And he says it happens everywhere, not just music or sports,
Yeah.
careers, fitness.
It's universal. But it's not just, like, random. Becker mentions these psychologists, Fitz and Posner. They had these stages of learning.
Okay, stages. What are they?
Well, first is cognitive. You're thinking really hard, making tons of mistakes, total concentration.
Been there.
Then, associative. Things smooth out, fewer errors. You're kind of getting it.
You have the hang of it.
Exactly. And then the final stage is autonomous. It's like autopilot. You can just do it.
The comfort zone.
Precisely. And Becker argues that's often where the plateau kicks in. You get comfortable doing it on autopilot.
So the brain likes easy mode.
Totally. It's efficient.
Yeah.
But that comfort zone, well, it's the enemy of getting better, isn't it?
Because you stop pushing yourself.
Mm.
You just keep doing the easy stuff you've already mastered.
Right. You're reinforcing what you know, not stretching into what you don't know.
Which leads straight to that plateau.
And Becker brings in Dr. K. Anders Ericsson. Here, his research really backs this up.
The deliberate practice guy.
That's him. He says just repeating stuff isn't enough. You have to constantly challenge yourself, push beyond what's comfortable.
That sounds less fun.
Huh. It can be harder work, for sure. It requires real focus, knowing what you need to improve, intentionally going for the hard bits.
Okay, so if we do push ourselves, what's actually happening up there in the brain?
Now we get to the cool neuroscience stuff. This is where neuroplasticity comes in.
Right, we looked at that curious article from the Australian Academy of Science and the Very Well Mind piece.
Yeah, and they really challenge that idea of just being naturally talented. Even top athletes, they're training their brains just as much as their bodies.
So neuroplasticity, the brain can change, even as adults.
Absolutely. Throughout life, the brain isn't fixed. Think of the connections, the synapses. When you use a pathway,
It gets stronger.
exactly, like forging a path in a forest. The more you use it, the clearer it gets, and the ones you don't use.
They fade away.
Pretty much. Very well. Mine calls it synaptic pruning. The brain is constantly optimizing, strengthening useful connections, trimming the unused ones.
Wow. So practice literally rewires our brains.
It does. It makes those specific neural pathways more efficient. Tasks become easier, more automatic over time.
That curious article had that great example with archers.
Oh yeah, the brain activity.
Beginners' brains are lit up all over the place, working really hard.
Whereas the experts, much quieter. More focused activity in specialized areas.
Yeah.
They've built those super efficient pathways.
Like neural highways for that specific skill. Faster, less effort.
Exactly. And it's not just function, it's structure too. The brain can physically change.
Like the London cab drivers.
That's the classic example. Bigger hippocampi because they needed all that spatial memory for the streets.
Incredible.
And they mentioned other examples, divers, athletes showing physical changes in brain areas related to their skills, the cerebellum for coordination, other parts for spatial info.
So the brain bulks up where it needs to.
You could say that.
Yeah.
So genes might play some role, maybe a starting point, or how fast you respond to training.
But it's the focused practice that really builds the skill for everyone.
That seems to be the key takeaway. And neuroplasticity isn't just about learning new things. Very well. Mine mentioned, it also helps the brain recover from injury rerouting functions.
Okay, so if practice changes the brain, this makes how we practice super important.
Bingo. Which brings us to that Reddit thread. The title was something like,
Practice makes permanent.
yes, not practice makes perfect, permanent.
That's a bit scary, actually.
It is, because if you practice something the wrong way, you're just cementing that bad habit into your brain's wiring.
Making it harder to fix later. You have to unlearn and relearn.
Double the work. So the Reddit discussion really stressed being mindful, focusing on the correct technique from the get-go.
It's not just about putting in the hours, it's about quality hours. focused attention.
Right. Mistakes are okay, even necessary, but you have to notice them and correct them. Just mindlessly repeating, especially with errors, that can actually hurt your progress.
They had some good practical tips too, like checking multiple sources when you're learning something new. Don't just trust one YouTube video.
Good point. Make sure you're getting the fundamentals right.
And they talked about perfect practice versus just getting started. It's a balance, isn't it?
It really is. You don't want to be paralyzed by trying to be perfect immediately, but you also can't just be careless. Conscious, correct practice seems to be the sweet spot.
Which leads us nicely into this whole talent debate. Is it real?
Ah, yes, the myth of talent. We looked at that YouTube transcript drawing with Avi and Scott H. Young's blog.
And they both basically say it's mostly a myth.
Pretty much. They argued that what we call natural talent is usually just a result of years and years of hard work that we didn't see.
We see the amazing drawing, the incredible performance.
But not the thousands of hours of practice, the failures, the frustrations that went into it.
Avi even shared his own story, feeling like he wasn't good enough in animation school.
Until he just practiced like crazy over a summer.
Yeah. And he said, look at the early work of famous artists. It's often, not great.
Right. It shows the journey, the improvement over time. Everyone starts somewhere. Consistency matters more than some imaginary gift.
Scott H. Young is even stronger about it. He calls talent a poisonous lie.
Strong words. But his point is that believing in innate talent can stop you from even trying because you think, oh, I wasn't born with it.
It limits your potential.
Exactly. He says, yeah, there are minor genetic differences, maybe, but they don't explain the huge gaps in skill we see. That comes down to practice.
He uses Michael Jordan as an example. Sure, athletic gifts.
But it was the relentless training on top of that. Talent alone wouldn't have done it.
So Young's idea is that success itself is a skill you develop through hard work and the right kind of practice.
That's the core argument. Intention plus the right formula. Practice and feedback.
Okay, so if practice is king, how do we make it stick? How do we stay consistent?
The Musi Live article had some good science on this. They brought up that famous Erickson study again.
The violinists and the 10,000 hours.
That's the one. Now, the exact number is debated, but the principle holds. Sustained, deliberate practice over time is key for mastery.
But maybe not always huge chunks of time.
Right. Musi. Live cited studies showing that regular, shorter sessions like 15-30 minutes daily can be really effective.
Better than cramming once a week.
Often, yes. It helps build the habit and allows for better consolidation in the brain, probably. Like watering a plant regularly.
That's encouraging. Makes it seem less daunting.
And they mention how long it takes to form a habit average of 66 days, according to one study. So you got to stick with it.
Consistency is key.
Absolutely. And the practice itself needs clear goals, focus on improvement, and motivation.
Intrinsic motivation, just enjoying it, and extrinsic, like rewards.
Both can play a role. They even mention things like practice streaks or visual trackers to keep you going. Taps into that desire for accomplishment.
And technology can help now too, right? Apps, analytics.
Yeah, providing feedback, setting goals, leaderboards, lots of tools to make practice more engaging.
Okay, so let's tackle the big one. Hard work versus talent. Which wins?
The Keller Executive Search article took a clear stance on this.
What was their conclusion?
While talent, that innate ability, can give you a head start.
There's a but coming.
But yeah, they argue hard work is generally more important for long-term success.
Why is that?
Because hard work fuels growth, perseverance. Someone hardworking can push through challenges where someone relying only on talent might give up.
So hard work can actually beat talent.
Often, yes. And hard work can develop talent. Talent without work ethic. Often wasted potential.
That makes sense. Hard work creates more chances too, right?
Yeah.
You learn more, maybe even discover new talents.
Exactly. It's the preparation, the refinement. They use the tortoise and the hare analogy.
Slow and steady wins the race.
Pretty much. Talent might be the hare's speed, but the tortoise's persistence gets it done. They also circled back to deliberate practice being crucial.
So hard work, deliberate practice. That seems to be the winning combo.
It really does.
Okay, so we know plateaus happen. We know practice changes the brain. We know how to practice matters more than just hours. What can people actually do when they feel stuck?
Becker's blog had some really practical ideas for breaking through those plateaus.
Like what?
Things like consciously slowing way down, really analyze what you're doing, find those tiny mistakes you might be glossing over.
Or the opposite, speeding up.
Yeah, Push your limits, challenge your current speed or complexity, see where you break down.
What else?
Timed exercises like note reading races if you're a musician, reviewing old stuff you thought you mastered, you might see it differently now.
Oh, that's interesting.
Memorizing things to deepen understanding, practicing in totally different places or at different times of day.
Gank things up.
Exactly. Disrupt the routine. Even just
Yeah.
going to watch or listen to experts, getting inspired, reading biographies.
Yeah.
It all helps break out of that rut.
And what about nurturing the brain's ability to change that neuroplasticity? Any tips there?
Yeah, very well. Mine had some good ones. Basically, keep challenging your brain. Seek novelty. Learn a language, play an instrument, travel, do puzzles, read widely, anything that pushes you out of your cognitive comfort zone.
Makes sense. Keep it active.
And don't underestimate the basics.
Brackets.
Get enough sleep. Sleep is apparently crucial for strengthening those neural connections.
Okay, noted. Sleep more.
Regular exercise is also huge, good for the brain overall, especially the hippocampus. And mindfulness or meditation can help too, fostering adaptability.
Even just playing games.
Yeah, playfulness seems to be good for neuroplasticity. Keep learning, keep playing.
All right, so wrapping this up, quite a journey through practice.
Definitely. Key takeaways seem to be plateaus are normal, push past your comfort zone. Practice literally changes your brain.
And how you practice correctly, deliberately, is more important than just mindless repetition.
Right. And this idea of talent is, well, mostly overrated. Hard work and consistent, focused practice are the real drivers.
Plus, there are concrete strategies to break plateaus and boost your brain's learning power.
We covered a lot of ground.
We did. So here's a final thought for everyone listening. Think about something you've maybe written off as not having the talent for.
Or somewhere you feel stuck right now.
Yeah. What's one small, deliberate step you could take, focusing just on the process of practicing well, not the big end goal? Just one step to challenge that old belief and start growing.
Good question to ponder.
Absolutely. Thanks for joining us for this deep dive.